B1 brothers and sisters, welcome to Blacklogic. Now, today we're going to talk about Joe Biden because his mental stability has been declining. It's been on a great decline, and everybody started to notice this probably within the last year or so. And I think it's very utterly important that we cover this because over the past few months, there have been concerning moments that raise questions about Biden's memory. We witnessed him struggle to recall names, even those of close colleagues, news reporters. It's unnerving to think that the leader of the nation may sometimes struggle with such basic details. Speech problems have also become noticeably recent. We've seen Biden stumble over his words and jumble sentences. Now we all have moments where words escape us, right? Even I do, even here live with you guys. But when it happens so frequently, we cannot ignore it when we're talking about the leader of the free world. And we have those falls, right? He's been falling all over the place. Fell off a bike. He fell up going up to Air Force One. He's fallen on the stage of the Air Force Academy graduation. He's just been falling all over the place. So his health has been in decline for quite some time. And that's concerning considering he is the president of the most powerful nation in the world. So it's very impossible to overlook these things, okay? Because when we combine these memory lapse, speech problems, and frequent falls, it's only fair to ask if President Biden is truly at his peak mental fitness. After all, our leader should be somewhere we can rely on. He should be someone we can truly rely on. Someone who can make crucial decisions when clarity and conviction is needed. But we understand it's important to note that we're not here to push an agenda or take ideas. I'm just giving you the truth as I know it, family, because the purpose is to examine the facts objectively, not subjectively as a Democrat, objectively as a U.S. citizen. It's crucial in a democracy, also according to the Constitution, a republic, to have these open conversations about the mental fitness of the president. So let's get into it.
President's doctor.
The president's doctor is going to do a physical. He's going to, and he has always put forth in the last 2 years a detailed memo.
The White House refusing to commit to having Biden's doctor field questions from the press when it comes to his mental acuity. Here with reaction is GOP Congressman and doctor himself, Mark Green. Congressman, great to see you. First off, do you think at this point the American people need to hear from his doctor?
I think with all the incredible gaffes and, loss of focus that the president's had on international media when he was in Vietnam, that incident, I think we need to know the report on his mental condition. This is the hardest job in the world, being president of the United States. We need someone whose faculties are 100% on all the time. And it doesn't look like this guy's are. And, even from a physician's standpoint, the symptoms, the way he speaks, the pressured speech sometimes, it's not appropriate, and we need to know.
When you remember.
Now, with that being said, family, we do have to understand that we have all noticed a great decline in Joe Biden's mental health. I know we have. Even if you're a Democrat, even if you're a Joe Biden butt-looking supporter, it really doesn't matter. We've all seen a great decline in Joe Biden's health, even to the point where he's out here just falling around doing ceremonies. And I'm not trying to be divisive or make fun of the president because I would like to live to be 80 years of age. And to his point, at 80 years of age, he actually is looking pretty good. He's walking pretty good. I mean, as a walking, talking white supremacist, but nonetheless, he's doing pretty good as far as health as an 80-year-old. But is he fit to be the president, to be the leader of the free world? Is he fit to be the leader of the most powerful country in the world? I don't know. Okay, like I said before, family, this is not to be divisive, but this is to point out very quickly. I don't know if he tripped over his own foot or he barely lifted up his leg, but even walking to, is it Air Force Two, the helicopter they get on? He's taking these really small, choppy steps. And it's very important for us to know if not only is he physically fit to be president, but is he mentally fit to be president? Because that's not the only time that he's failed, family. That's not the only time. And I'm just pointing these things out because here on Blacklogic, we like to point out the truth. You know when you trip, when you trip and you don't want nobody to know it. He slipped 3 times. And I'm just thinking, okay, after the first slip, okay, you get back to your little jog or your little run up the steps, and then the second slip, I'm gonna start taking my goddamn time, family. After the second slip, I'm taking my time, but he wanted to show people that he's physically fit, that he's strong, that he's capable, but he kept slipping. And I know someone's going to give him a pass. Someone's going to be like, well, Blacklogic, maybe the steps were slippery. Maybe it rained before he got there. Maybe someone put a banana peel there. Maybe someone has a slick of oil. Maybe he used baby oil and some got on the step. Who knows what occurred? But not only is his physical fitness because he's just tripping and walking up steps, but his mental decline is very noticeable as well. And these are all things that we must pay attention to.
Counsel shows the 81-year-old can't remember facts about his own life and career.
That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer, and why can't for the longest time Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to excuse me.
Mr. Haney?
We're doing it for the first time now in the 21st century, going into the 20th, from the 20th century going into the second quarter of the 21st century. That we'd say 12 years is enough? I think 12 years is enough going into 20, 30, 40, 50? The rebuilding of Syria, of Libya, they're there. And I want to thank the Prime Minister for Colombia's leadership and the ASEAN.
Joe Biden, do you remember that you was a senator of Delaware? Oh, yeah, I remember that. Do you remember that you signed the 1994 crime bill that incarcerated majority of black men? Oh, I don't recall any of that. I don't think I did anything like that. Do you recall that you stated that if black people don't vote for you, they ain't black? Oh,
you got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
I don't have an idea in the world. Do you recall that you stated you didn't want your kids to go to a racial jungle with black kids in inner city schools? I think you have me mistaken for maybe Donald Trump or somebody. Is this selective amnesia, family? I'm just asking.
Good morning.
Well, he's refusing to take these mental fitness type tests, yes, even though there are polls showing Americans are concerned. Do you feel like that's a good strategy to not take the tests?
I think that it probably is a good strategy. I don't think that would be a wise move for the president at this point and at this juncture. So I think it's in his best interest. There's already a lot of questions regarding his cognitive abilities and his cognitive capacities and his memory. So I think certainly whatever data might come from a test of that sort could be skewed against him even more so.
And I believe those are just excuses, family, because when you interact with world leaders, he has all his advisors, he has his press secretary, he has a secretary of state, he has all these people to fill in for him. And again, just by watching him from afar, we're not in the inner circle, right? We're watching him via media, but he's done enough in media to show us that his cognitive ability is on the decline. And now your sister girl, Kamala Harris, Kamami Harris, whatever you want to call sister girl, did you know that she came out and stated she is ready to serve as Biden faces age scrutiny? They're waiting for this, family. Let me tell you something. If this occurs, if Kamala Harris becomes president because Joe Biden is unfit to serve. Now, I think Joe Biden is going to serve out the rest of his term. I do believe that Joe Biden will serve out the rest of his term. I do believe that. if Kamala Harris become president and if Joe Biden can no longer serve, that means he's going to be off the ticket. He's going to be off the ballot. Donald Trump is going to win the president in a landslide, okay? He's going to win in a landslide because no one's going to really vote for Kamala Harris except maybe the AKAs and some people from Howard University, maybe some Indian folk, and maybe some butt-kissing, boot-kissing Democratic shills and the organizations they try to perpetuate the black vote in order to garnish that to the Democratic Party so she can become president and keep scaring black people into eternity that if Donald Trump's become president, then that's democracy as we know it. The whole country is going to hell in a handbasket. Because when you start talking about memory lapses, loss of speech, we understand that President Biden, or the commander-in-chief, he's had some senior moments. Let's call it that. Let's call it some senior moments. We've seen the clips where he's searching for his words, like he misplaced some laundry, like watching a game of political charades going horribly wrong. And let's not forget the countless time, as I showed you a couple here, that he's failed and seemed as though he's clumsy like a toddler. Like this is his first time learning to walk. I mean, he's fallen more times than a pack of dominoes in a windstorm. I'm not trying to be mean, but when the president's knees are hitting the ground more often than a marathon runner, it raises some serious questions about the physical health. When the president knees are hitting the pavement more than Stormy Daniels, then there's some questions that needs to be raised, family. I mean, call me crazy, but I would want a president who can walk the walk, talk the talk, whether they be lies or the truth, okay? But without tripping over their own shoelaces or drawing a blank mid-sentence. What happened? We're talking about running a country, not a retirement home, not bingo night, okay? So some folks may say, hey, lay off the guy. He's just getting older. And I got it. And that's perfectly fine, family. We're all going to get old. One of the worst things that I believe that can happen to anyone, of course, other than death and losing limbs and some stuff like that, is dementia, like not remembering, right? People are taking all sorts of ginkgo biloba and zinc and magnesium, you name it. Everyone's taking their multivitamins because nobody really wants to lose their memory. That's what you have to think. But when we're talking about the leader of the free world, okay, age is not an excuse of incompetence, especially when you're sitting in the most powerful office in the world, the Oval Office. The fate of not just millions of people is in his hands, because as I showed you guys on Monday about where your American tax dollars are going and how they're being sent, America gives aid to the entire world, global aid. So let's not even get started, people speaking up and taking up for Biden, but this could be another way that they, I guess in some sorts of a word, have Kamala Harris to be the first Black or Blasian or Asian or Indian, whatever she wants to be at the time, first female president. That's what this is about, family. I mean, seriously, it's like playing a real life game of hide and seek when it comes to Joe Biden in his mind. 1 minute he's here, the next minute he's off in La La Land, probably searching for that missing thought he misplaced earlier. What was I saying? And listen, my wife and I do this all the time. We'll be having a discussion and something to grab our attention. You've done it, right? You're like, dang, what was I saying? So we've all had those very instant and sudden memory lapses. But when you're the leader of the free world and you're in mid-speech, you're in mid-dialogue, it speaks volumes. So I'm not saying Biden is unfit to lead solely based on the issues. No. I'm not saying that. But they sure as heck raise some red flags, do they not? We need a leader who's sharp as a tack, not one who as confused as a goat. We don't need that, family. So I leave you with this question. Is Biden mental fitness up to par? Or are we simply turning a blind eye to the elephant stumbling around in the room. So, Foundation of Black Americans, it's time to wake up and demand answers of the leader of the most freest country in the world. I mean, not freest, right? Because we know we got some issues ourselves. But family, this is something that I believe is utterly important that we get around to, because we have Kamala Harris out here talking about, I'm ready to serve. There is no question about that, Harris said. Yeah, I bet she is ready to serve. I bet she is ready to serve. There's no question about that. Harris responded bluntly, and this is from CBS, not even Fox News. Everyone who sees her on the job, Harris says, walks away fully aware of the capacity to lead. You know, everyone's been talking about this a year or two ago. If something happens to Joe Biden, even roughly a year and a half to 2 years ago, people was already questioning Joe Biden's mental stability, his mental fitness. And again, I think this is another way to get Kamala Harris to be president. But I'm going to tell you, she's a weak candidate on the ticket. So when it comes to Foundation Black Americans, family, she already told us, okay? She already told us about reparations.
The reality also is this. Any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No, because whatever benefits that Black family will benefit that community and society as a whole in the country.
That is your sister girl, Kamala Harris, letting Black people know she will do nothing that specifically targets Black people, but she'll kind of do this lift all act. And the question here, if you are already at the bottom of the totem pole, if you are already the last people on the bottom step and you do a lift all act, that's just lifting everybody else. You're still on the bottom. So let's just find this even further. So again, we have no friends in Joe Biden. We have no friends in Kamala Harris. We don't have any friends, according to a lot of our great master teachers.
And that everyone who sees her on the job, quote, walks away fully aware of my capacity to lead. Ashley, I want to start with you because it's not a surprise that the vice president made these remarks, which could apply to any vice president, but it's different given the president's health concerns, his age. What do you make of her comments here? And is there any concern that they could backfire if people don't want to vote for Harris for president?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I would start by saying there are no health concerns for the president. That's not proven. But here's the thing
and that's the point that I wanted to make, family. See, that's the point that I wanted to make. Automatically, this lady right here came in to defend Joe Biden. She came in to defend Joe Biden, did she not? Which Kamala Harris did not do. That's the important point. Kamala Harris is talking about, oh, I'm ready to serve. I'm ready to be president, where this actually, maybe she's an immigrant. I'm not pronounce that last name. I don't know, family. I don't know if it's English or Spanish or African. I just don't know. Or Caribbean. I don't know. So, but it sounds like a Caribbean last name. I could be absolutely wrong. But she came right in to defend Joe Biden. And she said, there is no question that Joe Biden is perfectly fine. His mental fitness is just fine. Kamala Harris didn't do that. She like, oh yeah, if something wrong, I'm ready to step in. If you're the vice president, you have to go down with the ship, do you not? Do you speak against the president like, oh, well, you know, you supposed to automatically come out and condemn all comments, all rhetoric, all conjecture, all thoughts, all ideas about the mental stability and mental fitness of the commander-in-chief. But no, she didn't do that. She said, oh no, I'm ready to serve. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm ready to serve. So she's worried about herself. She's worried about the power of the Oval Office. That's what Kamala Harris is worried about, family. So don't get it twisted now. Don't get it twisted. So here's the thing, family. Here's the thing, family. We already know that Kamala Harris is next in succession, next in line to be the president of the United States of America. And she has no intention, the Secretary of State, Secretary of Treasury, Janet Yellen, none of those people to be president. She wants to take Kamala Harris, she pouts herself as, at one point in time, as California top cop. Now she want to be the top cop of the United States of America and do absolutely nothing for foundational Black Americans. The same thing she hasn't done when she was in California. Matter of fact, she helped lock up thousands of Black people with impunity. Okay, so don't get wrong there, family. Let's not get it wrong there. No, let's just understand who will be becoming president. The same person you just saw talking about there's nothing she going to specifically done or do for foundational Black Americans, but she'll do things for everybody else.
Counsel said in his report is that one of the reasons you were not charged is because, in his description, you are a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory.
I'm well-meaning, and I'm an elderly man, and I know what the hell I'm doing. I've been president. I put this country back on its feet. I don't need his recommendation. It's
How
totally
bad is your memory, and can you continue as president?
My memory is so bad I let you speak. That's
your
what
memory has gotten worse, Mr. President?
My memory is not good. My memory is fine. My memory, take a look at what I've done since I become president. None of you thought I could pass any of the things I got passed. How'd that happen? I guess I just forgot what was going on.
Mr. President.
Voters have concerns about your age. How are you going to assuage them? And do you fear that this report is only going to fuel further concerns about your age?
Only by some of you.
Mr. President, criminal liability today.
Can I point out something, family? Can I point out something, please? Because anytime that you want to deny whether it be true or false, if you notice he led with an insult. He said, my memory's so bad I let you speak. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was quite funny. I'm a fool sometimes. I just thought it was quite funny. But I think that a lot of times he's giving too much attention to the reporters. Hey, my memory's just fine. Next question. They're going to ask more detailed, layers deep, of questions to see where his mental instability or mental decline is occurring or not occurring. But again, you answer the question very bluntly, very sharply, and you move on to the next. But when you start hauling insults and you start being very defensive, if further, you know how you're going back and forth with someone and then you get to the point where you start to defend yourself instead of just asking the question, you seem more guilty than you already are, even if you're not guilty. That's just the way it is. That's why I say a lot of times you just have to be on offense, and he's not. He's on defense. And so instead of people asking relevant questions about the country, about illegal immigration, about Ukraine, about Israel, about the world, about anything dealing with the presidential duties of the Oval Office, they're asking about his age, his health, his mental, his physical stability. This whole press conference was an attack of Joe Biden. And guess what, family? I don't care. I absolutely don't care. Good. Here's the thing, family. Until we get a president in office that understands the historical past of this country and that a debt is owed to foundational Black Americans, I just don't care anymore. I just don't care, and neither should you. That's why I'm voting couch 2024. No tangibles, no vote.